I recently made a video about the best new build neighborhoods in McKinney, kind of focusing more like on the upper mid price range. Well, since then, Wallet Hub named McKinney the #1 real estate market in the country. So I thought, you know what? We should talk about McKinney's affordable side too. Now, here's the thing. If you read that article and you're thinking about McKinney, you need to know the costs, the commute, the schools can all vary in a huge way depending on where you buy. Like just when it comes to city taxes, in the 5 communities we're going to cover, one has no city taxes at all, and the other 4 pay taxes to 3 different cities, even though they're all technically in McKinney. So it's those kind of differences that affect your budget in a huge way. So where can you buy new construction in McKinney under $350,000? Well, let's start out with Cypress Creek West. We're going to find it on the far east side of McKinney, just south of Highway 380. Now, realistically, it's so close to Princeton that most people would say it feels like Princeton. So you should know Princeton's growing at an astronomical rate, and you're going to feel that vibe in Cypress Creek West. Now, the upside to all that growth is seeing your conveniences come together. You've got your everyday spots like Whataburger, Starbucks, and Walmart just minutes away, and even specialty shopping like Specs or the Allen Premium Outlets are still within an easy drive. You'll go a bit farther for places like Aldi or Sprouts, but overall you have a good balance. Now, if you had to commute downtown, what would that look like? Well, it's a bit of a drive to US 75, but it is a fairly straight shot. Like from home, you would just head north about 4 minutes on Simpson Road until you turn west onto 380. Overall, you're looking at a solid 16-minute drive just to the freeway, and then roughly overall about 52 minutes to get into downtown Dallas. So how expensive is it to live here? Well, according to Colin Cadd, the total property tax rate comes in at 1.33%, which is actually really low for the Dallas area. Cypress Creek is outside of city limits, so you don't have to pay any city taxes. But don't get too excited just yet, okay? Because Lennar confirms the community sits inside Collin County MUD 2, which adds right back to your tax rate. The HOA runs about $37.50 a month, and when you total everything, taxes, MUD, HOA, along with the homestead exemption, you're looking at around $545 a month on a $350,000 home. And remember, as we're going through these, okay, that is just for your property taxes and your fees. So we're not talking about including like paying back your mortgage or your insurance. As for amenities, you're probably wondering what you can get there. Well, you've got a swimming pool, community center, and a playground. So a few things to get out there and enjoy, but not a whole lot of bells and whistles. Now let's talk about schools for just a minute. One portion of Cypress Creek West is part of Princeton ISD, and then another portion is part of McKinney ISD. Both of these districts are given a B rating by the Texas Education Agency, so the overall district isn't going to make like a huge difference. On great schools, both districts have a pretty balanced performance as well. For Princeton, about 44% of schools are rated average, and another 44% are above average. McKinney fares a little bit better. 28% of schools are rated average and 59% are above average. So overall, McKinney does come out a little bit ahead. What you're really going to want to know is which specific campus the home is zoned to. Well, this is where the different school zones might make a difference for you. If you're on the Princeton side, Lennar shows that kids would attend Low Elementary, which earns a 7 out of 10 on great schools. Southard Middle School, which comes in strong with an 8 out of 10, and Princeton High School, which scores a 6 out of 10. Now, according to the MLS, a Cypress Creek home on the McKinney ISD side would be zoned to Webb Elementary with a 4 out of 10 on great schools, Scott Morgan Johnson Middle School with a 7 out of 10, and McKinney North High School, which rates an 8 out of 10. So you have higher rated schools on all sides, kind of depending on the grade level. There's just one builder here, Lennar Homes, so you can't expect a lot of variety in home types or home values. Speaking of home value, the prices at Cypress Creek West range from the mid 300s to the high 400s. So if you're thinking of your new home as an investment, and this probably isn't your smartest move because there's just so little variety. It's all low priced with only one builder. The Google reviews for Lennar in this neighborhood averaged 3.3 stars across 15 reviews. Most 5-star reviews don't say much, but the 1-star reviews, mostly from the past year, they tell a clearer story, okay? Homeowners mentioned drywall and concrete cracks, poor communication, and staff follow-up. Reviews like that are always worth paying attention to because they point to construction quality and warranty performance. At the end of the day, a warranty doesn't mean much if the home isn't built to last and the same issues keep coming back after the warranty expires. Next up, let's talk about Eastridge. The community also sits on the far east side of McKinney, but this one is north of Highway 380 and directly above Princeton in terms of nearby conveniences. It's decent, but it's not right around the corner. All right, you're gonna find the basics within 10 to 20 minutes, okay? So think places like Domino's, McDonald's, Raising Cane's. For shopping, you have a couple of strip malls and a Target around that same distance. Grocery options are, again, within that 10 to 20 minute time frame, like Kroger's at 13 minutes and H-E-B is around 18. So none of this is what I would call ideal, all right? You know, like, hey, I need a gallon of milk. Well, that's gonna take me 13 minutes to get to Kroger. Your total commute to downtown Dallas is around 55 minutes. From Eastridge, you'll have a bit of a drive just to reach 75. You'll be heading west on New Hope Road for around 10 minutes, then down to Highway 380, with your second option being to take 2933 to avoid the 380 traffic. Either way, expect roughly 20 minutes total before you're on US 75. So it is not the best spot if you want quick highway access, but then once you're on, the drive into Dallas is pretty straightforward. Now let's talk numbers, okay? According to the Conn County Tax Estimator, Eastridge has a property tax rate of 1.78%. Now there is a PID here. It's gonna run you $244 a month on a 50-foot lot. The HOA is going to run you about $65 a month. So altogether, if you were buying a $350,000 home on a 50-foot lot, your estimated monthly cost just for taxes, PID, and HOA would come out to roughly $691 a month when you factor in the homestead exemption. So just to make sure you know that you're paying attention here, Eastridge is going to run you roughly $100 more a month than Cypress Creek for the same priced house. So these are the things you have to consider when you're planning how much home you can afford. Let's talk about amenities for a minute, okay? Because if I'm paying a hefty PID, I want to know what I'm getting for it. Eastridge offers a solid amenities package: community pool, playground, fitness center, hiking and biking trails, clubhouse, basketball court, and even a dog park. So this one is definitely set up for families who want a neighborhood feel and plenty of outdoor activity options. As for schools, Eastridge is part of McKinney ISD, which holds a solid B rating from the TEA, like I said before. And greatschools.org, about 28% of schools in this district are rated average, and again, 59% are above average. So overall academic performance leans a little closer to the stronger side. Students here are zoned to Webb Elementary, which currently scores a 4 out of 10 on Great Schools. You also have Scott Morgan Johnson Middle School earning a 7 out of 10, and McKinney North High School, which rates a very impressive 8 out of 10. Okay, so who are you going to find building out here? Well, builders here include Trophy Signature and Meritage Homes. So you've got a little bit of variety when it comes to design. Think things like floor plans and elevations, but both communities have price ranges from like the 280s to the 450s. So you shouldn't expect to see a lot of variety in home values. Okay, let's talk about customer satisfaction at Eastridge. Google reviews for Trophies section of Eastridge scores a 3.6 with 60 reviews. Some buyers mention communication and warranty frustrations, but others praise the sales staff. 3.6 out of 60 though? Okay, that is a large enough sampling to know a lot of homeowners are not satisfied. Now, Meritage looking a little stronger. Their section sits at 4.3 stars with 29 reviews, again with similar comments about warranty response times. There are plenty of 5-star notes about smooth build experiences though. Overall, seems like you could potentially get through a home purchase here without too much difficulty. But the big question is, what would the future hold with the home you just bought? I mean, it seems pretty likely that you're going to experience some warranty issues in the future. While you're thinking on that, let's go ahead and move on to the preserve at Honey Creek. It sits on the far north end of McKinney, tucked just west of Melissa and Highway 75. Similar to the others, this is one of those communities that still feels close to everything, but gives you a little bit of extra breathing room. You're north enough to skip the heavy McKinney traffic, but you're still within a decently short drive to like restaurants, shopping, major highways. Speaking of food options, you've got plenty, but you're gonna have to drive about 10 to 15 minutes for them. You have, Buffalo Wild Wings, Chick-fil-A for quick meals, and then your basic grocery options as well. Walmart and Sam's Club are just over 10 minutes away. You can reach downtown Dallas in about 40 to 50 minutes, which is solid for a North McKinney location. The best part is the quick highway access. Just 8 minutes to US 75 and about 10 to US 380. So getting there is pretty simple. Head east on Weston Road, turn right on Trinity Falls Parkway, which runs straight into Lod Howell Parkway right before 75. So at only 8 minutes to the highway, this spot already has an edge over Cypress Creek and Eastridge. Now let's look at the numbers. There's no PID or MUD here. The Collin County tax estimator lists the tax rate as 1.75%, and HOA dues come out to $69 a month. So altogether on a $350,000 home, you're looking at an estimated total monthly cost of about $443 when you combine taxes, HOA, and the homestead exemption. Now let's pump the brakes for just a minute, okay, before getting too excited about those lower taxes. The city of McKinney approved the creation of a municipal management district in the Honey Creek area, but still a little unclear as to whether the preserve at Honey Creek by Lennar, is actually falling within that district, in which case it would be subject to additional taxes. So are your monthly expenses lower at Honey Creek? All right, for the time being, possibly, but there is a wild card there. So I want you to be aware of that. Your amenities here are decent. You've got a community pool, clubhouse, playground, park, and walking trail. It's a family-friendly setup without being over the top. All right, but let's talk about schools. All right, schools here are gonna fall again under McKinney ISD, which has that B rating from the TEA. On greatschools.org, about 28% of schools, again, rating average, and 59% rating above average. So again, decent reviews, better than some, but not the best. For this neighborhood, kiddos are zoned right on the edge of two elementary schools. The first is Fraser Elementary, which is brand new, hasn't been rated yet, and the other is Naomi Press Elementary, which currently scores a 6 out of 10 on Great Schools. From there, students move up to Scott Morgan Johnson Middle School, rated 7 out of 10, and then to McKinney North High School, which gets an 8 out of 10. So overall, the elementary schools may be a bit of a wild card, but the middle and high schools are pretty dependable. The community is built entirely by Lennar, so expect, again, somewhat of a cookie cutter appearance in this neighborhood. Just one builder also is going to mean a lack of home value variety. The price range at the preserve starts at just over $300,000 and ends somewhere like in the 440s to 450s. On Google, the preserve at Honey Creek averages a 3.9 star rating with 97 reviews. So again, you have a solid sampling size showing a decent amount of unsatisfied buyers. Some of the lower ratings mention, again, warranty and construction quality issues, and a few talk about less than friendly staff experiences. But on the flip side, okay, you do have some positive reviews praising the smooth buying process, neighborhood layout, and overall home designs. So it's a bit of a mixed bag on what to expect in terms of the transaction process. But overall, okay, I would call this unimpressive for sure. Okay, the next community is Simpson Crossing. We're gonna find it just north of Cypress Creek on the far east side of McKinney, just below Highway 380 and just west of Princeton. As for nearby options, you got a lot of favorites nearby, okay? Pizza Hut, Wingstop, okay, those are just outside the community, and Walmart is super close as well, only 5 minutes from your door. For larger shopping trips, McKinney Square is about 16 minutes out, and Sam's Club and Costco will take you close to 20. You can basically hop on 380 right out of your neighborhood. It is like a 2-minute drive. And 380 does mean a lot of traffic though. and a lot of stop and go. But from 380, it's a straight shot in about 15 minutes to US 75. Commuting to downtown Dallas takes you up to like 50 minutes, kind of depending on traffic. Now let's talk about the financial side, okay? Simpson Crossing is technically within Lowry Crossing city limits, and that's a small suburb right in between Princeton and McKinney, and it has a property tax rate of 1.53%, according to the Collin County tax estimator. Meritage lists a PID amount of 0.9563 per $100 of assessed value. So that is a pretty big chunk of your total tax rate, okay? Altogether, the tax rate ends up being about 2.49%. The HOA dues run roughly $58 a month, and when you add that all up, taxes, PID, HOA, along with the homestead exemption, you're looking at an estimated monthly cost of about $649 on a $350,000 home. So if you're keeping track, again, you're coming in lower than Eastridge, but higher than Cypress Creek West. Okay, let's talk about the amenities at Simpson Crossing, okay? Am I getting what I'm paying for with that PID? Well, the amenities at Simpson Crossing are basic, but not bad. You have a greenbelt area, playground, trails, and a resort-style pool with cabanas and a kids' splash pad. Schools here also fall under McKinney ISD, so a TEA B rating. And again, great schools showing 28% of these schools rating average, while 59% are above average. So respectable, not top notch. Kids here go to Webb Elementary, rated 4 out of 10. Then Scott Morgan Johnson Middle School, which jumps up to a 7. And finally, McKinney North High School, which holds an 8 out of 10. So once again, we're seeing low ratings at that elementary level, but strong ratings as you move through the grades. There are 2 builders in Simpson Crossing, Brightland Homes and Meritage. Again, not the best variety, but you can expect some different styles of homes in the community. The price ranges are pretty limited. Meritage has a slightly better range starting in the low 300s and ending in the 430s. But Brightland currently only ranges from like the 350s to the 380s. Brightland's section has a 4.5 star rating on Google. Okay, but it's only got like 2 reviews so far, and both within the past few months. One review gave 5 stars and mentioned their lender was easy to work with and communication was great. Then the other left a 4-star rating but didn't elaborate. Now, Meritage's section has a 3.7 average with 20 reviews. The common complaints are about construction quality and communication issues, but you did have several 5-star ratings mentioning positive experiences. Moving on again, let's talk about Southridge. It's also on the east side of McKinney, directly north of Princeton and north of Highway 380. This area has seen a lot of new growth in recent years, and Southridge fits like right into that wave of new communities popping up on McKinney's eastern edge. When it comes to nearby spots for food and shopping, you're in a pretty good location. You can find several favorites within the 5 to 10 minute range, okay? So think like Whataburger, Chipotle, Panda Express. For shopping, Walmart is just 9 minutes from your door. Sam's Club, a little bit further out, and you can find a full day shopping at the Allen Premium Outlets about a half hour out. Your commute to downtown Dallas is a little bit steeper at right around an hour. You're just 2 minutes from FM 75 and 10 minutes from US 380 for local errands, but it's 17 minutes at a minimum from US 75. From home, you'd hop on 408 heading west to New Hope Road and then south to 380 or north for a few more turns to hit 75 and Wilmeth. Now let's take a look at the numbers, okay? Southridge has a total property tax rate of 1.88% according to the Collin County tax estimator, but there is a PID here and it's not included in that number. For a 50-foot lot, it's gonna set you back by around $273 a month. The HOA fee, $50 a month. So when you add all of that together, plus your homestead exemption, your estimated monthly payment for taxes, PID, HOA, on a $350,000 home on a 50-foot lot comes out to about $723 a month. So Southridge comes out higher than any of our 5 communities, a difference of like $140 a month between it and Cypress Creek West for the exact same priced house. So if you are on a budget and you're looking for an affordable home, okay, you have to keep that in mind. Southridge offers your basic amenities. There's a community pool, walking and biking trails, and a playground. So expect a pretty traditional neighborhood feel here, and yet you're paying $273 a month in a PID, which is the most expensive of all the communities we've looked at. So high PID, very little to show for it. So you want to keep that in mind. In terms of schools, Southridge falls within the Princeton School District. Again, they get a B rating from the TEA, and according to Great Schools, 44% of nearby schools are rated average, and another 44% scoring above average. So again, we're kind of talking about a fairly balanced range. The area is zoned to two different elementary schools, Marcella Green and Lacey. Now, the first one is not on Great Schools, but the second one gets a 6 out of 10. Southern Middle School comes in strong with an 8 out of 10, and then Princeton High School scores a 6 out of 10. So overall, Southridge schools are pretty middle of the line. Meritage Homes and Trophy Signature are the builders in Southridge, and the price ranges are about the same as we've been seeing. Meritage ranges from the low 300s to 440s, and then Trophy from the 270s to 450s. So not a lot of variety here in home values. Meritage has a strong 4.7 star rating with 19 reviews. The only 1-star review mentions a customer service issue, while most of the 5-star reviews praise the communication and smooth buying process. Many of those are short, they don't include a whole lot of detail, but at the same time, it's always good to not see poor reviews related to like warranties and quality of construction. Now, Trophy Signature comes in at 4.0 stars with 4 reviews. Only one of those is a low rating, and they didn't have any written feedback on it. Yet a couple 5-star reviews mention a great buying experience and satisfaction with the homes themselves. So now we have seen 3 communities with Meritage, okay? And do you see how inconsistent the experiences are? Well, and honestly, that's what we've experienced with Meritage as well. Like sometimes you will get a great experience, and then, sometimes decidedly not. So where would I settle if I were moving to McKinney and I wanted to spend less than $350,000? Okay, let's do a quick recap. First of all, I personally wouldn't consider either of the Lennar communities. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why. Not only does Lennar sell their homes to investors, but they actually actively market and recruit right on their listings. They host investor workshops. I mean, they're like, hey, come on over and turn our neighborhoods into all rentals. I've talked about this before, but it bears mentioning again. It's not that there's anything wrong with renters, okay? We have all rented at some point in our lives, but non-owner occupied neighborhoods just tend to be less well-maintained. Things go wrong with the homes that the tenants are not allowed to fix. Like a tenant is not gonna be allowed to replace a broken fence or repaint the siding. So I just think that's something you wanna keep in mind. On paper, Cypress Creek and the Preserve look the most affordable thanks to their lower tax and HOA payments, but that doesn't make them the best value. Both are built entirely by Lennar, and the Google reviews tell a consistent story. Issues with warranty response, construction quality, and customer service. So overall, they are just a no-go for me. Like I would give them both a tie for last place. Okay, so right off the bat, we've eliminated 2 of the 5. Of our remaining 3, the school ratings are basically in the mid to, highish range, though Southridge does come in a little lower. Eastridge offers the strongest amenities, while Southridge is more limited, and then Simpson Crossing falls somewhere in between. The PIDs, MUDs, and HOA fees absolutely matter though. And I don't know if you noticed, but every single one of these communities either have a PID, a MUD, or the potential of an MMD. And so because of that, affordable in McKinney is not going to mean the same thing as affordable somewhere else. Buyers end up needing more buying power than they thought they would, for like a $350,000 home. On balance, when you take everything into account, schools, amenities, location, costs, builder variety, reputation, all right, the data points to Simpson Crossing. It's not perfect, but it offers solid school zoning, decent amenities, and builders with fewer major complaints about construction quality than some of the others. It's closer to $380. Plus, of our 3 non-Lennar communities, it has the lowest monthly costs. Now, I promised you communities under $350,000, and we found 5 of them, but I want to throw in kind of a bonus, all right? When you think about the added expense we've seen with the PIDs and the MUDs, it is quite possible you can afford a higher priced home if we can score a community without the PID or mud. So for that reason, you may want to consider a community like Painted Tree. Your entry point there is in the 430s, but without the pit or mud, you may end up with about the same monthly cost. And you have a whole lot more amenities there, a much higher quality of builders and pricing diversity. If I've sparked your interest there, all right, you should know I made an entire video featuring Painted Tree and several other communities that have kind of a somewhat higher price point than what we've discussed here. If you're interested, you're welcome to check out that video right here. In the meantime, this is Wendy Pinnell, your Dallas Realtor, and I'll catch you on the next video.